The Swartland wine and olive growing town of Riebeek Kasteel was another world away from the hardships Joseph and his wife left behind them 10 years ago. Granted asylum in South Africa, they made it count.
You held one of your first managerial positions at this hotel, and I'd imagine it brings back quite a few memories for you.
Indeed. I mean, this is the place where I got to have my very first job as a manager / sommelier. I got to be trusted to list wines, source wines, do food and wine pairing. So it really brings back memories.
His wife, Amelia Joseph Dhafana, found a job as a receptionist. And after a while working in the Royal Hotel bar, Joseph discovered his interest in winemaking.
Amelia, you must be so proud of what Joseph has achieved and also the role Riebeek Kasteel has played in your guys' lives.
Yes, I met Joseph 15 years ago in Zimbabwe. So looking at where he's coming from, he started as a gardener and then a dishwasher. Then now he's one of the best sommeliers in South Africa. I'm super proud of him.
Well, Joseph, as one of the best wine sommeliers in the country, I would love to taste what you've created. What do you have for us?
So we're going to have to try this Merlot here, which I brought.
His expertise on the topic inspired his quest to make wine. And through friendships with growers, he sourced grapes and established his own wine and gin label, Mossi.
These grapes came from Wellington. It's a warmer climate in terms of wine growing region in South Africa, whereby Merlot can actually reach optimum ripeness, which you need when you're making Merlot. And the wine spent about 15 months in a French oak barrel.
That's really good. Definitely not as spicy as I anticipated, but it's got a nice, smooth, warm body to it still. That's really lovely.
That's very correct. It's got such a great oak integration. Really good.
Oh, that's definitely going to be a favorite of mine.
Winemaker Eben Sadi has been a mentor to Joseph as he launched his label Mossi Ayatunya. The name is a reference to Victoria Falls, the smoke that thunders.
Eben, Joseph is really lucky to have a leading man in the wine industry as his mentor, but what about him stood out for you?
From the outset, it's his interest. He's very inquisitive. He didn't just want to do a job, he really wanted to know what was up with the wines, and he didn't come from a background of wine, which I think is a positive because he had a clean slate. You know, he had no historic or preconceived ideas of what wine could be and not can be. And he's free, and he's still free today. You know, it's wonderful to have somebody like him to have actually lived for that dispensation of time here in the Swartland. He knows all of our wines, but he went on beyond that to get specialized and to get very informed about South African wines. And I think that's indicative of a good sommelier, is a person that's not happy until he knows everything about wine.
Oh, this looks delicious. Joseph, what do we have here?
So this is beef fillet with a bedding of aligot mesh. So we're going to complement that with Transpoa, which is 100% Tinta Barocca. It's quite a nice and refreshing wine. Really good enough to work very well with the fillet and also doesn't overpower the red wine jus.
Amelia, being married to a sommelier must come with some benefits.
Yes, for sure. Having a husband who cooks and pairs the food with a very good bottle of wine, what more does a woman ask for?
Well, it looks like you guys have a lot to catch up on, and I'm going to head off inside and find out why this hotel is actually named a national monument. But thank you so much for the incredible lunch. That was superb.
Famed for having the longest stoep south of the Limpopo, the Royal Hotel is reputed to be the oldest licensed hotel in the Western Cape. It's the pride of co-owner Carminda Brendel.
The decor and aesthetic style immediately caught my eye when I walked in here. What inspired the design?
We decided on choosing fabrics and colors inspired by the landscape and the olive groves and the beautiful vineyards that you find out in the countryside. And there's the playfulness and the theatre around the design that we've chosen to accentuate each room and give it its own special character.
Joseph has such an incredible soul, and this hotel played a vital role in his journey to success. You must be so proud of him.
We are delighted in just his journey and where he started, and we're so honoured to have had his energy come through this hotel. And how fortunate are we to have his gin and wine feature on our wine list, and we're so proud.
The Valley hosts a Mediterranean festival, another for olives, and a third for Shiraz. Tour guide Eric Fenter is at the heart of these festivities.
It's so good to meet you. I absolutely love your town, but what can one look forward to when visiting Riebeek Kasteel?
It's such an interesting town. It's in the middle of the Swartland, which is an expansive wheat area. And there's this mountain. And around this mountain is this town. And we have fantastic food here, very good wines, authentic people, interesting people, musicians. There's a whole group of musicians. We have our own steel band. It's really like a lifestyle village.
Joseph's philosophy of winemaking is that a good start always makes for a better ending. An approach which Donald Lemaier applies equally to the youth of Riebeek Kasteel.
What is the Steel Band project and why is it so important to you?
The Steel Band project has been going on since 1998. It's a youth uplifting program to teach the youth from small communities how to play music and make music, and also to build a career out of music. Like, I've been overseas, I've played in Mozambique, I've played in Sun City, I've done all those gigs from Steel Band. I'm so blessed to actually have been part of it since I was 13 years old. And I'm now a teacher, so that's awesome. And that's how I actually became who I am today, and that's a pop musician.
Never forgetting where he began, from here Joseph has risen to compete in the World Wine Tasting Championships.
I know that currently you are the head sommelier at La Colombe, which is considered one of the world's best when it comes to fine dining. But yet you keep coming back to this place here. Why is that?
I mean, this place means a lot to me. It's the scenery, beautiful vineyards, very good wines. The people are very friendly and kind. Wow, there's another special reason why I keep coming back, which I would like to show you.
Easterhof was the Dhafana's home through the first 2 years they spent in their adoptive town.
This is where it all began, eh?
Yeah, so this is the place where I used to live. This is the community, and very good and friendly people, I must say.
What does it feel like coming back here?
Amazing. I mean, I used to stay in this particular shack. So that was really 10 years ago when I came down from Zim. So the first trip was in Joburg, where we stayed about 2 weeks in the streets. Then a cousin called me down here, then we stayed in this particular shack. Yeah, so yeah, I do have really fond memories of this place. And this community was so generous and welcoming. So yeah, this is the place.
Joseph, I can't help but notice the powerful and positive presence that you have within this town. And now you're giving back to the very people that welcomed you so many years ago.
They always say you're going to have to remember your roots, and this is really my roots as well. So I try my level best to give and share the little which I have with the society or the community. Last year, I managed to auction my box of wine and give a little bit to the Winemaker Trust, which is here in Riebeek Kasteel, some money so that they can actually be helped with buying some necessary goods or basic commodities which they need to use. Other than that, I helped Ezeko School of Cookery or Catering in Langa. I gave them a box of wine to practice for the wine pairing. I gave them some money as well. I think I gave them about 2,000 rand. So those are the things which really drive me and which keeps me very closer to the community, because I've been there, I know the situation.
Joseph was raised by a maize farmer in Tirumanzu. So during his 4th year in the valley, when he helped in his first harvest with winemaker Chris Molyneux, it was a return to his roots.
Chris, you and Joseph have come so far, but where did your journey begin?
We both started in Riebeek together. We had just started our winery, and Joseph had just moved to Riebeek, and we met while he was working as a barman. We felt this natural connection. He had this passion for wine and service especially, and then we loved the fact that he loved opening our wines and sharing it with his customers, so it was just a natural relationship that developed that way.
Little did I know that I such a natural, probably hidden talent of tasting wine.
Yeah.
But you might have probably spotted it back then. But look,
yeah, we liked the fact that we could bring some of our wine, younger wines, to Joseph and say, what do you think of this? And he would give us amazing feedback. Maybe he didn't really realize how good he was, and he'd give us this feedback that was really important to us. So yeah, we saw early that he had a really special talent for tasting as well.
When Joseph serves these wines as sommelier at La Colombe restaurant, his guests often go on to visit the Silver Mist wine estate.
So this is all this year's wines that we've pressed 2 months ago. So I'd like to show you guys the wine from the vineyard we were just in and get Joseph's opinion on what he thinks.
Chris will tell you they don't have spittoons in this cellar, as the wine is too good to waste.
wow, such a great dry entry. And I still taste that those pepper notes really follows through, and also quite perfumey in a way. This wine is going to turn into like a really beautiful wine. It's going to really show us more library of aromas as it ages in the barrel. This is going to be a brilliant one, I must say.
And you think you can find a good pairing for it in your restaurant?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. This is really, really good.
So your customers will like it?
Yeah, they will love it.
Cheers, great to have you guys here.
Cheers. Actually, guys, I'm gonna catch up with you in a second. I just forgot something. Best of the good life.
Most of the wine, olives, grapes, jams, fortified fruit and chutney served here is grown here. Joseph and Amelia are as proud of these products as they are of their own label.
Thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story with me. What lessons can one take from your journey?
One, he has to keep his eyes on the ball and remain humble. And also, if you're going to have to do something, do it from the heart, then the rest will follow. I mean, you can't just do something for the sake of money. Determination breeds success, that's all I can say.
Well, cheers to your determination and success.
Cheers.
An inspiring documentary on Dhafana's journey will be launched in New York later this year. To get your own taste of their story, head to Riebeek Kasteel and try the wines for yourself.